Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. You mad, bro? Early Pirates injuries, constant Steelers QB confusion have Pittsburgh fans grumbling. Some quarterbacks just aren't going to come to Pittsburgh. Other quarterbacks may never leave. And certain Pirates may take a little longer to put on the uniform than we all hoped. All these topics have our readers simmering in this week's You Mad, Bro? Someone calling themselves Pirate Crusher, so I assume it's Sid Bream, sent me this email about newly acquired, and already injured, Spencer Horwitz. Maybe Lonnie Chisenhall is available? Well, Lonnie was never available in the first place. I doubt he will be now. Rooney saying, "It's not like we haven't had some success around here," shows the mindset of someone with low expectations. How can he be the majority owner with that type of thinking? How? His last name. That's how. I mean, he's the owner. What's he gonna do? Fire himself? Maybe that's because the Sun hasn't come up on a postseason win of any type since 2018, and our teams have a way of throwing cold water on whatever hot streak they may be on at the time. Dan wasn't wild about my column regarding the potential of Russell Wilson returning to the Steelers. Matthew Stafford should be the Steelers' top quarterback target this offseason. There have been recent rumors swirling about the Los Angeles Rams potentially trading QB Matthew Stafford. While the validity of these reports remains uncertain, Stafford's wife made some intriguing comments on her podcast, hinting that a trade could be a real possibility. Stafford is seeking a contract extension, and if he and the Rams can't come to terms, they may explore moving him. From a strategic and financial standpoint, both sides have compelling reasons. The Rams proved they are still contenders after pushing the defending Super Bowl champions to the limit in the NFC divisional round. Keeping Stafford would make sense for a team still capable of winning. However, with the decision to part ways with star receiver Cooper Kupp, the Rams appear to be shifting their focus toward the future. Given that Stafford is 37, trading him could align with that direction. If the Rams are truly open to moving their Super Bowl-winning quarterback, the Steelers should seriously consider making a move. Here's why. Stafford is the most realistic and reliable choice as the Steelers' starting QB. Matthew Stafford will likely finish his career with the Rams, but if for any reason both sides decide to part ways, the Steelers should jump at the opportunity. Out of all the potential quarterback options available, Stafford would give Pittsburgh the best chance to win now. Realistically, the Steelers will likely stick with either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, with Fields being the more probable choice due to his youth and lower cost. However, neither quarterback seems capable of leading this team on a deep playoff run. Wilson's steep decline in Denver highlighted why the Broncos were willing to absorb a massive cap hit just to move on, while Fields continues to struggle with the same inconsistencies that held him back in Chicago. Keeping Fields makes sense if Pittsburgh believes in his potential growth, but after nearly 50 starts, he has yet to show the necessary development as a passer. Could he improve? Sure. But in the NFL, a sample size that large usually tells you one thing: you might just not have what it takes to be a high-level starting QB. The Steelers have the cap space to make a Stafford trade work, and it makes sense for two key reasons. Reason 1, he makes the team instantly better. Even at this stage of his career, Stafford is a significant upgrade over both Fields and Wilson. In fact, he'd be the best quarterback Pittsburgh has had since Ben Roethlisberger retired. With a defensive core featuring T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, the Steelers are built to win now, and Stafford has already proven he can lead a team to postseason success, even with less than elite talent around him. A Stafford-led offense would make Pittsburgh's passing attack far more dangerous, allowing them to compete with the AFC's top quarterbacks. The Steelers didn't hesitate to sign Russell Wilson at his age, despite his decline, so why not pursue Stafford, who has shown in recent years that he can still get it done at a high level, even as he's gotten older? The Steelers haven't won a playoff game in 8 years, why not bring in a guy who's proven he can still perform when it counts? Reason 2, he'd be an ideal mentor for a future franchise quarterback. Stafford is a potential Hall of Famer, and if the Steelers could acquire him and extend him for 2 seasons, they'd be in prime position to draft their next franchise quarterback in 2026. This would allow them to remain competitive in the short term while giving a young QB time to develop under one of the best passers of the modern era. Pittsburgh needs to stop settling for mediocrity, especially at quarterback. A trade for Stafford wouldn't require a backbreaking price, but it would immediately make the Steelers a much better team than they've been in recent years. Steelers could take a chance on Packers' fourth-year QB this offseason. After a slightly confusing season from Jordan Love, in which strong, efficient play was combined with substantial reckless and mistake-riddled play, the Green Bay Packers are looking to fortify their offense and get the team ready to contend in 2025. One often overlooked part of the quarterback play in 2024 came from backup, Malik Willis, who proverbially shocked the world as he had notable contributions in 5 games, registering 550 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and a very impressive 124.8 passer rating, during which he went 2-0 as a starter. As a result, teams could well look his way for quarterback reinforcements in what is a bare QB draft and a lackluster free agency class. Ryan Pulaski of Fansided's Steel Curtain discusses the possibility of the Pittsburgh Steelers making a play for the Packers' breakout signal caller. Pittsburgh showed a lot of pre-draft interest in most quarterbacks coming out of that draft, Pulaski writes. All signs pointed to the team wanting to take Malik Willis that year. He was shooting up draft boards leading up to the event, and many thought he would get taken by the Steelers if he were still available in round 1. Willis fell to the 3rd round after the Steelers chose Pickett instead. Willis didn't last long with the Tennessee Titans and was traded to the Packers for pennies on the dollar. Mike Tomlin wants mobility and a strong arm at quarterback. The longtime coach in Pittsburgh won't forget the countless hours of draft prep he did on this player. Pittsburgh Steelers could make a play for Malik Willis. Pittsburgh has already made it clear that they are unlikely to keep both incumbent quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And with the latter being younger and having more room to grow, and probably an increased willingness to back up a starter, the organization seemed to be trending towards keeping Fields. Many fans are fed up about the team going for old, medium-quality bridge quarterbacks, and Pulaski believes that the Steelers could have a dynamic QB duo of both Fields and Willis, were they to trade for him, going into this season. Having a room of Fields and Willis would provide a young spark to the position. Both could be considered draft busts, but they add a similar skill set to Pittsburgh's offense. They have strong arms and mobility. Willis started 2 games for the Packers this past season and didn't produce any interceptions. If the Steelers want to trade for a backup similar to Fields' situation last year, then Willis should be their top target. Would the Packers be willing to trade Willis? Willis would certainly be an enticing candidate for the AFC North team, but Green Bay would be reticent to part with the quarterback they had so much success with this past year, after trading a 7th-rounder to the Tennessee Titans for his services at the end of training camp last August. It would perhaps be far-fetched to anoint Willis as an immediate starting caliber quarterback, despite his eye-popping numbers in his first year in Wisconsin, but the Packers brass would likely have to be enthralled by an offer to part with the talented 25-year-old. Willis was always regarded as a raw talent coming out of college, and that ability is why many picked him to be a first-round pick pre-draft, despite him eventually falling to the Titans at number 86 overall. Pittsburgh would likely have to feel confident enough that he could be a potential starting QB in the league for them to give up upwards of the 3rd or 4th round pick that it would likely take to lure Willis away from the Packers. But if Green Bay are willing to sell high on the Liberty product, it could well be a possibility. And are you a fan? What do you think of the Malik Willis situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.